40,000. That sounds like a lot, doesn't it? And to people who don't know much about church, it sounds like there's 40,000 different ways of regarding God, regarding the Bible, regarding how to get to heaven, regarding what truth is, regarding how we're to live, but that's not true. This number is large, but it's not that large, actually. And here's why. Because that number is largely what we call an organisational number. So, for example, the Lutheran Church has the Australian Lutheran Church. So the Lutheran Church that started in Germany and the Australian Lutheran Church are two different denominations, but they believe exactly the same thing. And in every other country, they get another number. And so by the time you do this, you realise the Anglican Church, the same thing. There's the one in England, and there's Australia. And actually, they're all actually the same. So these denominational numbers just simply mean, look, it's better off if we organise ourselves in particular countries. There are language groups. It's better off if we have the Chinese-speaking branch of the church, and so on. And so by the time you realise these people aren't dividing over what they believe or don't believe, they're dividing over how they get organised. And so that number is greatly reduced to a number that's well under 10,000. And when you consider that there's some 2 billion Christians around the world and there's 10,000 denominations, actually, it's quite remarkable that there's not millions of denominations. It's quite remarkable how united the church actually is. It's actually really remarkable. And I thank God that in this city, I get on really, really well with my Presbyterian brothers. I get on really well with my Reformed brothers. I get on really well with my Anglican brothers, my Baptist brothers. I get on really well. And we all basically believe the same thing. I can't help it if they're not right in every particular way, but, you know, they'll come around. And they probably say that about me too. Now, this is what Paul says in 1 Corinthians 15:1, and this is what unites Christians. And so denominations, apart from the Orthodox and the Catholics, who are founded on the idea that one man, either the patriarch or the pope, is the boss of the church, which I don't think Jesus taught that at all. And most other denominations don't accept that in any shape or form. This is what does unite Christians. 1 Corinthians 15:1. Now I would remind you, brothers, of the gospel I preached to you, which you received, in which you stand. Verse 2. By which you are being saved, if you hold fast to the word I preached to you, unless you believed in vain. For I delivered to you as of first importance what I also received. Here's the gospel. That Christ died for our sins in accordance with the Scriptures, that he was buried, that he was raised on the third day in accordance with the Scriptures, and that he appeared to Cephas and then to the 12. Then he appeared to more than 500 brothers at one time, most of whom are still alive. In other words, you can check this out. Though some have fallen asleep. Now that's the message. Jesus Christ came as the Scriptures foretold. Jesus Christ lived and ministered as the Scriptures foretold. Jesus Christ died for our sins as the Scriptures foretold. Jesus Christ rose again from the dead as the Scriptures foretold. We now proclaim him so that you can come into a relationship with God, be saved, and find the peace that you're looking for that can come from no other means. And when you believe it, you are placed into a church. You are placed into a church. When you're not here on Sunday, we have an empty seat at the dinner table and we have a dinner plate full for you sitting at that dinner table.